Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our May 21st meeting. The first item on the agenda is to update the group on the presentation to the ANC on May 13th regarding our statement on the historic preservation board. Libby and I, or Libby, provided the ANC with the statement, and I don't think we received any questions. Is that right, Libby?
No, I just wanted Peter Gosman was very nice. He put us at the front top of the list because race being
Hazard
always
reported ahead of Rock Creek and Potomac.
because race being always listed at the bottom, especially with this many, they had many agenda items. He accepted to move us up so that we could just briefly make a statement that, you know, just state our position. And we said that it was obviously kind of ex post because they had already, the decision had already been tabled, but we wanted to have it noted that we had a statement about this. And so yeah, that was fine. I can't remember exactly now the letter, but it was fine.
Yes, it was fine. I saw it. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough meeting to make a statement in because, you know, it was all jam-packed with all of the zoning issues.
Yeah. I keep confusing it with the testimony that we gave in front of the zoning commission. That's what I'm kind of got a couple of things mixed up.
Okay, great segue.
April.
Yes, great segue, Libby. So the next on the agenda is to update the group on the zoning commission hearing, and I presented this to everyone who attended. I gave a testimony. It was a long day of being on the call. I don't remember if it was 5 hours, but
It was 5.
they took, okay, yep. And they took all the people forward. So I guess they assumed it would be a short list that they would be able to hear both, but it took the entire night, took all the 4s. And then I think on the 23rd is all the against. Anybody else want to add about the zoning commission hearing?
Ron gave testimony too, so did I. I think I was literally the next to last person. And Chairman Hood, I thought was very, I thought he asked good questions and seemed engaged until the very end. And he did, I thought, pose a recurring question, which was, why is it that Ward 3, no matter what the question is always against affordable housing? And he just kept posing that question when it's clearly happening across the city, and he just wanted to point that out, that there's always seems to be an outcry from this ward. And he just kind of openly keeps asking, why is that?
Who is asking?
Chairman Hood.
Oh, good.
And he asked that directly to the 2 council members, commissioners, Sherman and the other one, Goslin. He asked them directly, and they gave just terrible answers. I mean, they were, you know, it was the old, oh no, we're not for affordable, we're not against affordable housing, just blah blah blah. It was embarrassing. I mean, the only things I would add to Corinthia's absolutely accurate report on this is that 2 things. First of all, that if you didn't see it, you should go back and take a look at the district office of Attorney General. What's the guy's name? Max Tondro or something like that.
Tondro, yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
at his fairly long and detailed analysis of whether the zoning is appropriate and why. And he delved deeply into the kind of issues of the history of exclusion that we've raised also, except he had a PowerPoint and he's a lawyer, and we had no PowerPoint and aren't lawyers, so he gave a very eloquent presentation. The other thing is that
Wait a minute.
Cal is trying to get in.
About how
Oh.
far into the presentation was that, Ron? Do you know?
how what?
About how far into the presentation was that?
Pretty early on.
It was early on, and actually, there's
It's a YouTube
I don't know if
recording.
there was a listserv post or something that Chris Vaden put up, like the next day.
Mhm.
If you can grab that, where he identified exactly where it was.
Great.
I can try and find that after this call and maybe send it out to everybody. But he really did a great job, and it was particularly impressive because the Chevy Chase Voice people have invited him to sit in on stuff and comment on stuff on occasion, or maybe it was just Sherman at an ANC meeting or something. But they sort of expect to get support. They seem to expect to get support from him because they've convinced themselves that all this stuff is improperly noticed or improperly inconsistent with the comp plan or whatever, and he just destroyed all those arguments and enthusiastically supported the zoning and very eloquently. And the other thing is that the Goslin and Sherman, I don't know the status of things, but they wrote a letter to OP and the zoning commission saying that if they agreed to a certain height that's lower than what's being proposed, that they think they can get the ANC to go along with that and propose that as a compromise. If you care to go to the zoning commission website where all the testimony is logged in, and you can find the additional testimony by me and Ellen McCarthy. I think we make a strong argument that that compromise would essentially be inconsistent with the comp plan because it would not allow for an increase in opportunities for affordable housing. I have no idea where it stands. I haven't seen anything from ANC commissioners about this anymore. I haven't heard anything, so I don't know.
It was nice to see a lot of or hear a lot of different voices. A lot of young people spoke. These were people that I wasn't familiar with from post on the listserv, at least. So it was nice to see that there was a long list of supporters that we hadn't heard from.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'll just
so
add,
on the 23rd, all the opponents will have their opportunity. So it's going to be another 5-hour marathon. If you look at the letters of opposition that are at the zoning commission website, you'll see it's the same old stuff. It's either process or it's being afraid of developers making money, or it's it's neighborhood character stuff. It's same old, nothing new there.
Are you going to attend that meeting, Ron?
I actually will. I have a medical procedure that's going to take up the whole day, and if I live through it and have the strength in the evening, I'll tune in. But there's a good chance I won't. There's a good chance I'll live through the
Yeah, good.
procedure. But
Probably have had enough torture in one day.
Oh,
it's not that bad. But I really may choose to just pass out in front of the TV and not attend a zoning hearing.
Yourself a break.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
so what's next, Corinthia?
Sorry, hold on. I took it down because I was looking for the um
Here,
minute where
I
you
can
can
tell.
see it. But the number 3 is your item initiative to encourage attendance at the Red Line and arranging a meeting with Joy.
Okay. Well, I think it's really important for RACE to do something to encourage attendance to this exhibit. I mean, this is just like, I just think it's just an incredible juxtaposition. This neighborhood with just several blocks down the street, this very informative exhibit that's so well done. And I feel like we could play a role in gathering a group to go or doing something to call attention to it.
I agree. Why didn't we proceed with the
Idea of
last
going to
one?
it was too nobody was available.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
So-
the thing is, I went on a tour. With our diversity and inclusion working group, we had a tour last Wednesday, and I think it's a great exhibit, but the tour guide was a little bit of a distraction for me. I mean, of course, I knew a lot of what it was, but the presentation, it's so packed with information, but you kind of really need to read it yourself. It's like a book on a wall. So I think one of the things we could do that would be easy would just be to do a few like weekly reminders about it and say, stop by. They can go from 10 to 8 or whatever any day. Great restaurants, and it's metro accessible. There's great little places to stop and get something to eat on the way in or out. It's a really nice outing. I think it works best for me. We're gonna have another group, but we're gonna with a village, but we're gonna not have a tour guide. It's a kind of a private, personal thing, don't you think, Libby?
Very true. I think it's important to be able to see the stuff and internalize it and think
Yeah.
about it your own way.
Yeah.
What I really think we could do is encourage people to attend one of the presentations.
Yeah.
Because I've been to several of those, and they're an hour long. They bring in
Mhm.
very knowledgeable, great speakers, and it's so well done.
Right.
And
Yes.
Cal went to one just the other night. Cal, what did you think? Cal?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. Yeah, I went to the one was called De-Gentrifying the Black Body, because I was wondering if it was closer to the stuff that I've been involved with in the social justice programs. And it was. She's an artist. And I also talked to one of the other organizers who said that they ranged between 10 and 40 people. There were about 25 that night, so right in the middle. And then I went and looked at the exhibit just before they closed and took screenshots, took snapshots on my phone of the whole thing. So I have the whole thing to study later. Yeah, I think I like the idea of the meet and greet followed by although I don't think we should run it right up until the start time. The other thing is we have to be careful because some of these things start at 6 and some of these things start at 6:30, and this was published for 6:30 in one place, but it actually started at 6. So we have to get really clear about that if we're going to do it on one of those nights. I also want to know if you want me to go back and to find out Joy's availability again for a meeting with us. That seems like a separate thing than what we're planning.
Yeah,
A meeting with Joy, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
I was going to suggest, maybe RASE can, sponsor, quote unquote, and promote a little half an hour web thing, like a Zoom like this with Joy, to have her talk about how this came about and how it relates to the national version of this, and talk about the programs that are still to happen, and then just urge everybody in the community to take advantage of it, and even saying that it's it's the kind of exhibit that doesn't really lend itself to a quick tour, but it's more like a book. It's more like something you go to read. And
Ron, are you
just
suggesting that we ask Joy to meet with us virtually, but keep making it open to the community?
yeah, public,
Like,
yeah,
Grace is,
meet with
of
us,
course, invited to come
Yeah.
and speak.
yeah,
She can speak with anybody who wants to log on and tell them about the exhibit, and then they could go on their own.
right, and we
Or
would
maybe they've already gone, you know?
yeah, or maybe they were already gone, whatever, but we would be the Energizer Bunny here. We would be the one who promoted on Chevy Chase Chatter and on the listserv, and we would announce it at wherever the next ANC meeting is, and we would I think we would write an email directly to the 7 ANC commissioners and say, we expect to see all of you there. If you're interested in affordable housing like you say you are, we want to see you there and be part of this discussion.
I don't want to necessarily put a fly in the ointment, but I think we're running out of time for the exhibit. The exhibit only goes until the early part of July, right? And our next meeting is a month from now, which is in June. And by then, there's no more time left.
Do we need to actually meet with her in order to organize this event?
Suspect you could just email her and say, would you be willing to talk about the exhibit, next week? Or in 10 days from now, or whatever, early June.
we could have a special meeting that's just about that, where she talks about it, and then we have a Q&A, and then and invite and encourage people to go far and wide.
I think what Juan was talking about, Cal, is different.
No, that's sort of it. She would, I'm sure she has a dog and pony show. She had to raise money for this and everything. So, and she has her list of events that are, still to happen. She can talk about why it's important and answer questions if people have it.
But you're talking about us asking her to have a meeting online with everyone who wants to attend, the entire community, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
Cal,
talking,
were you talking about
same
just a
thing.
one-on-one?
Same thing, special RASE
Okay.
meeting, inviting.
I
the
don't think it should
community.
be called a RASE meeting. I think we should be inviting them to a presentation.
Right.
Okay, but we're
Right.
the one hosting it.
Yeah,
No, but it's not about us. We're
Right.
just sort of like getting it out.
yeah. I think it's a good idea, and we certainly can't, what do we lose? If 5 people come, it'd be 5 people.
Cal, would you want to follow up with her?
Yeah, I've already started a draft email. So while we were talking, so I can finish it off after the meeting and get it off to her tonight, see what she says, you know. So I want to be clear, we're inviting her to plan it with us. Or we're just letting her know we want to do it, and what does she think of the idea? And what would be a good date? I mean, I want to be clear what I'm asking her.
It's more like we're asking her if she would do a presentation to the community. And RACE would be in charge of announcing it on the listserv. As you know, we'd be helping to promote that.
Yeah, and what else?
You know, come to this meeting to learn about the Undesign the Red Line exhibit and whatever else she might suggest we say.
You tell her, we think it's just really important that more people hear about this exhibit. And we feel like it could be, it's important for RACE to encourage people to attend. And this might be one of the ways that we could get more attendance. Because I know she's made posts on the listserv just announcing different events. But it's a little different when you have an organization, you know, the ANC committee, and that announces it, encourages the participation. That sound okay?
I think it would be an invitation to join us for a conversation with Joyce, with her, and to learn about it. And there could be attached some information about the exhibit.
So us being RASE.
Yeah.
So now it sounds like it is a RASE. RASE is making the invitation.
I think that's okay. I just don't think it should be a RASE meeting, but.
Okay.
Do you want somebody else to draw something, to type something up?
I'm typing it as we speak. As I'm listening.
Okay. Well, maybe show us a draft when that's ready, and we
It's-
can all
Yep,
see if that lines up.
sure, it's just 2 sentences, but 3 sentences. Well, I'm gonna talk to her, just mention that I went to the one last Thursday and talk about that at the beginning, and then and then the second paragraph would be the invitation. So I gotta change the subject line. It was meeting with the RAISE committee, which is not what we're talking about now. Okay, yeah. All
No,
right,
how can RACE facilitate, you know, an online talk? All right. Do we have Carl on the agenda next? Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna have to drop off. But yes, I put the agenda in the chat.
I got the agenda here.
if you're gonna drop off, can you make me or somebody host so that we don't?
Libby should be co-host. Is that your co-host, right, Libby?
I don't have the password.
No.
No, you don't need a password. Just need
Corinthia made you co-host your co-host.
Okay,
your,
that's
Yeah.
fine.
right, just make sure that when you leave the call, you make her host and not just end the call, because
Mhm.
Lisa's done that. Inadvertently, so, all right, cool. Carl, Renee?
Yeah, so the Windows project proceeds. So a little bit more every time we meet. In this last period, we've had responses from the advisory group that we pulled together to comment on the concept paper. They all did, in light of their commentary. So all five of the people that we asked responded. They all gave us a thumbs up for the project.
Great.
They all had things to say about improving the concept. Their suggestions for improvements were all taken on board. The concept paper was rewritten, and you all have it now. I sent it out a little while ago. So what I'd like everybody to do is to find the old one and delete it,
Okay.
because we don't want the wrong one getting in the hands of anybody. It's a new and improved version that I sent out today, and that's the one. That's the only one that is valid at this point. And you can make your own judgment about the new and improved version, but there is a new and improved version, and it reflects the input of the five people on the advisory group, in the advisory group. Is there anybody that wants to be reminded about who's on the advisory group?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we have three authors and two local activists. Starting with the activists, we have Elizabeth Baden, who of course is associated, taking a leading role with Undesign the Red Line, and Jamie Butler, who's with Washington Interfaith Network, especially Ward 3. The three authors are Richard Kallenberg, who wrote Excluded, Christopher Ashe, who is the co-author of Chocolate City, and what's her name? Amanda Huron from University of District of Columbia, who has a number of articles, especially in the, I can't remember the name of her book, but the articles appear pretty regularly in Washington History Magazine. So again, they all gave us thumbs up. They gave us ideas for improvement. The improvements were inputted, and that's the document that you all have now. We're at the stage now where we need to move from that to actually, yeah, we also got, of course, the letter from the ANC to the vendors on Connecticut Avenue and associated streets, asking them to approve, to support our efforts. And that will help us, we think, get someone actually to say, yes, we'll put this in your window, in their window. We're trying to focus, when I say we, I'm talking about Rachel Mowry, who is our liaison to the vendors, because she's the manager for CCMS, the Chevy Chase Main Street program, revitalization program. And she's been working on CVS. CVS has been unresponsive. So we're doing two things. We're trying to find another way to get access to CVS. We're not sure whether they're so siloed that they don't know what to do with the approaches that have been made, or they're not interested. So we're going to try a top-down approach and see if we can get some motivation that way. And the less said about that, the better at this point. So the next stage is to translate the concept paper, which is formatted, as you know, in terms of the four panels that we have envisioned, into a mock-up that will actually suggest, roughly speaking, what the four panels will be. We can't produce the four panels yet because we don't have the money. It's a chicken and egg problem. We won't get the money until the ANC knows that we have somebody that says yes. Right? So all we can do is show an approximation. And so at the technical level, that's the next step.
That sounds great, Carl. Who, if CVS says no, do you think might be a possibility?
Yeah, well, Renee and I had Rachel and I had a discussion about that the other day. Uh, just thinking outside the box, what might be possible. One idea is to put it on bigger windows in places that don't have flat windows, like on Safeway facing Connecticut Avenue,
I was
or
thinking Safeway.
the PNC Bank. There are problems with both. The first problem is technical. How do you affix? How do you produce a product that you can affix to something that is not a window, right? And so I've gotten back in touch with the technical person that we're working with that did the windows on Wisconsin Avenue to ask her about that, and she seems to think that it's doable. There are two problems though that are attendant upon that. One of them is that Safeway doesn't get that much foot traffic in that particular place.
Hmm.
And PNC Bank is now a landmark source. And so anything we did with PNC Bank would probably have to go through the Historic Preservation Review Board. And that could be a nightmare. So we began to think of other possibilities, like trying to get them the panels on the windows, not windows, but glass panels of the several bus stops that we have in the neighborhood, right? The Metro bus stops. We don't even have to have all four of them in one window. We can have it like, in the Midwest, where you drive for miles and miles and miles and see one sign after another. Every mile you see another sign that's about the same theme, something like that. So we're trying to think of different ways of approaching this, but it would be a damn shame, in my humble opinion, if CVS was so obtuse that they couldn't take on board this project.
Why are we not considering the community center and the library?
We are, but that's the second stage. Because we're not considering them right now because no one goes to the community center, and hardly anybody. Where would you see it if you went to the library? How many people go to the library? We want it in a place where there's foot traffic.
Foot traffic.
So the idea, the plan was to put it where the primary foot traffic is in the community, and then after a period of 9 to 12 months, reinstall it either in the library or in the community center. Hopefully by then we'll have a new community center and library.
There's a funny noise. Anybody hear it?
Yeah, water. Sounds like water.
Is it my fan?
It's the fountain behind me.
It sounds like.
Okay, so we will read that and get back to you, Carl. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, and just while I have the floor, I sent around a really interesting article that was written by Susan Nyman. I don't know if any of you who know who Susan Nyman is, but she's produced a number of very interesting books. So her faith tradition is Jewish. She grew up in Atlanta, and she had relocated to Berlin. She's actually an American expat living in Berlin and writing about memorialization issues. From the point of view of someone with that baggage or that orientation, has produced some very interesting work. And the two books that she is just reviewed in the current issue of the New York Review of Books are two biographies of Frantz Fanon, who was one of the critical voices in the decolonization movement in the 1950s and 60s. He died young at age 36 in 1961 or 62, just after publishing Wretched of the Earth, which is a classic, of course.
Decolonization in Africa?
Decolonization across the board. He was born actually in Martinique. And his main position was kind of a rejection of the whole concept of negritude, that was advanced at the time, which is what made him very interesting for Susan Nyman, in fact. So anyway, I found this article very interesting, and I sent a link around.
Did you say it's in, I get the New York Review of Books. Did you say it's in that?
It's in the current issue, the issue that just showed up at your door yesterday.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He also wrote a book, by the way, called Black Faces, White Masks, in about 9 years before Wretched of the Earth, which was also, he was very much I mean, you know, just the fact, I don't have time, we don't have time for me to go into the entire story of his, you know, his upbringing, and
last
what
name?
brought him to France, but he fought for the French in World War II, and ended up being a supporter of Algerian liberation from France in the 1950s.
What is his last name? You said it's Francois?
Fanon,
Huh?
Frantz Fanon, born in Martinique,
Faron?
Fanon.
Oh, Fanon. Got it. Thank you.
Was one of the readings on in my first course syllabus when at Columbia I was asked to teach a graduate course in 1976, I think it was 75, called Imperialism, Contemporary Thought and Practice.
Cal, do you want to talk about the outreach to Dr. Hewitt?
Sure. So I kind of let it slide for a while once the historic district was killed. But I put out an email this past week that asks if there's some other reasons to meet with her, let's go ahead. So somebody responded there were other reasons. They didn't specify what they were, but let's talk about that. And if necessary, if we want to have another meeting, I'll just reach out to her assistant and find out dates that she's available.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's time sensitive to meet with Dr. Hewitt, but I think it would be great.
I think it'd be very important, actually. One of the observations I've had, and I tried to bring it to the discussion of the Transportation Committee also, is that there is I think, a very serious lack of understanding on the part of a lot of residents who are commenting and serving on committees and everything about how the district does what it does and what sort of metrics it uses, how it makes decisions. And if I understand right, she is, what's her position again, Cal?
He's the chief something officer of the Office on Racial Equity. She's sort of the head honcho.
Yeah, she's the head.
Right. So it just seems to have her do nothing other than talk about how they do their job and what kinds of considerations they take into account is an important thing for us to understand as we move forward and weigh the kind of comments we might have.
Yeah, and I would only add to that ORE just produced its first strategy paper. And so there's actually something to talk about. They've been formulating a strategy paper for the last year and a half, and now it's out. And we could ask about what the implications are for us and for others.
So if y'all, somebody wants to write up or just send in, it could be something from Ron and something from Carl, send something that I can write to her assistant about, okay, why we want to meet. then I'll go ahead and work on the scheduling. Carl, we both said things and I
Yeah,
didn't.
all I said is well, and the strategy paper is visible on
There's a lot of noise.
website.
Sound, I don't know where it's coming from. Okay, just go ahead.
Yeah, ORE's website will have the strategy paper on it. That's the only reference I made.
Okay. So Ron, you want to write what you said up? And I'll use it. You're on mute. You're on mute, sir.
Sorry, sir. I'll try and write something up tomorrow before I go into the black hole of Thursday.
Thursday's my most open day, so. Oh, you mean the zoning thing?
Between the zoning and medical stuff, yeah,
Okay,
it's a black hole Thursday. But I have a note here to try and, it's just, it's one paragraph. We'd love to have you come and talk about blah, blah, blah. Okay.
you already have it written?
In my head.
Oh, okay. Just send it to me and I'll use it.
Yeah.
Renee, do you have, Marilee, do you have anything to add to the topic of making Rock Creek Park equitable? You
I
and
have not contacted, I'm so sorry, it's at the bottom of my, it keeps getting down to the bottom of my to-do list. I need to be in touch and I will do it before the next meeting.
What is his name again? The fellow
Tony
you,
Richardson,
Tony?
Tony Richardson.
It looks like we have people that we definitely are going to want to meet with. And our next meeting will be, do we have a July meeting? I believe we do. And then no meeting in August. So it's going to be a question of who is available first, I guess.
So we have a June meeting on June 18th. And then the July meeting would be July 16th. And we can decide if we want to meet in August or not. Now that we don't require Lisa for our meetings, we don't have to take the hiatus if we don't want.
Can I add a piece of new business very quickly?
Yeah.
Some of you know that HECDC ran a walking tour of the neighborhood, a new walking tour a couple of weeks ago. It was on a rainy day, and we made a promise. I made a promise that we do another one to try to find a better day. And so I'm going to advertise one for 11 o'clock on the 8th of June, which is a week from this coming Saturday. So if anybody wants to join me, we'll start from the Avalon. But do tell me if you're going to come.
And what day is it again? It's this Saturday?
Saturday the 8th. 8 June. And it's going to be solo. This is not I'll have enough to say, but there probably won't be more than myself and one other person. There'll probably be two docents rather than four.
What time on that day?
11 o'clock.
11?
Yeah, it'll take about an hour and a half. It's a 1.7 mile route. There are 5 stations in it. And it'll take around, an hour and a half.
It's gonna be the same one you just did?
Be the same one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you ever do one in the afternoon, I'm there.
And you're asking people to meet at the Avalon.
Yeah, we'll just meet in front of the Avalon.
Time they do it.
How many did you have for the rainy one?
22 people showed up for that.
Oh, that's great.
It's
Plus
great.
we had 3 docents, and we had a videographer, and we had 1 or 2 other people too. So we were aiming for 30. So on a rainy day, we got 22. I thought that was pretty good.
I was in Connecticut. I would have been there.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So in terms of follow-up, right now, we have a certain number of things to do. Cal, you're gonna send invite to Joy to let her know that we'd like to facilitate online meeting with the community so she can talk about the exhibit. We have Carl's email to review about the Windows exhibit. We have Ron who's going to send you some wording for meeting with Dr. Hewitt. And for anybody who's interested, we have the opportunity to read a bit about anti-colonialism. I'm going to check this out because François Fanon. Let's see. There's the strategy paper that we can check out that's on the Office of Racial Equity's website that's newly out. And Marilee, when you can follow up with Tony.
Yes.
About Rock Creek.
I will do that.
And we don't have any immediate, there's no testimony, there's no statement right now, as far as I'm aware of, that RACE is making at any upcoming ANC meeting. But it'll be interesting to hear what comes out of the May 23rd meeting with the Zoning Commission. Just wanted to touch base again about the developer meetings. I thought that was an interesting meeting last night.
Sure.
And I guess maybe maybe we don't talk about that.
I think maybe as an agenda item on our next meeting, we should talk about how we might approach having comments, raise comments that go to ANC once the proposals are in.
Well, we communicate our impressions and our preferences.
Yeah, but as I've mentioned before, I'm really reluctant, concerned. I don't think we should offer as a committee our preferences about design, for instance, or open space or stuff like that, unless it's somehow coming out of it relates to our mission, which is racial and social equity.
That's what we did for
and
historic preservation too. We kept it along the lines of racial and social equity.
Yeah. So anyway, I think maybe once that's a conversation, we should carve out some time for and talk about.
Should we have that as an agenda item for the next meeting?
Sure, why not?
Okay. I didn't take very good notes this time, but I do have more or less the action items that I can send back to everybody. Anything else?
Oh, what
I would
about,
just throw out there that the record is still open at the Zoning Commission. So if anybody has, has not testified and wants to testify, for or against, or any aspect of it, you probably still can, because Ellen and I sent you all a copy. I emailed a copy of the link to the proceeding, the Office of Attorney General presentation, and also to my testimony with Ellen. And they put it up, so it's in the log. I don't know if the zoning commissioners read it or not. My impression in the zoning commission meeting was that they actually do read it. They may not read it until it's being given, but they did seem to be looking at their screens and asking questions about people's testimony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Is anyone planning to go to tomorrow's community meeting with the H&H developers?
Oh. Isn't it canceled?
Oh, that's right. They did cancel it. That's,
Yeah.
never mind. Postponed, not canceled. Okay. Cool. So what?
If other developers contact any of us, is there interest in setting up more of those meetings? As you know, I don't think we need to go out and find people because, well, mainly because we don't know who they are until they identify themselves. But if anybody contacts me, should I say I've got a committee that wants to talk to you?
Absolutely. I think
Yep.
it's really
Okay.
important that we talk with them. Absolutely.
Those are great conversations.
Okay.
So last item on the agenda.
Do you want to go back to the recommendations? Is that what
Well,
you're
I
referring
wanna-
to, Cal?
What I just want to do is talk about us, and maybe we can't do this with the time permitted. I don't know what the time permitted is, another 4 minutes or whatever, but I'd like us to get a game plan together to get more active in getting moving on these, because we've had them for 3.5 years, and we have mainly worked on recommendation number one recommendation out of whatever, there were 16 or 18 of them altogether, however many there were, 15. And I feel like this was our original marching orders from the ANC, and when they formed us in 2021, and they gave us a bunch of things to do on very specific recommendations, most of which we have yet to do. So I know we're involved with a lot of other things that are coming up, but I don't want us to neglect these. Particularly because we're going to come to do an end of term report, in December that we'll submit to the ANC, and there's going to be a little turnover in the ANC, and then we get I don't know if we get reappointed or we just only new people get appointed. I don't remember how that works.
Or do they decide not to have a standing committee again? There'll be a new ANC. We have to make, the election will produce a new ANC and they can do whatever they want.
Well, to my knowledge, only 2 of them are wanting to, leave.
No, I think 5 are leaving. At least,
Really?
Oh, 5 commissioners?
yeah.
Can you name them? I know about Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not in this context.
And Zach. They both have made that very,
Yeah,
they-
offline.
yeah.
Or maybe who are the ones that are going to stay? That's more concern.
Yeah, we're going to have a new commission.
Oh, God.
One way or the other, there's going to be a new commission.
Maybe I'll run. I don't really want to, but
Who's your commissioner?
Lynch.
Well, are there rumblings about who may come forward?
I've not heard anything.
There have been discussions.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? I think, I'll talk to Lisa to see how we can improve this transition, the handoff of the password and Zoom, because we lose time and it's frustrating. So I'll follow up with her. I just know that she's just, running a mile a minute and we have to get through this period.
I don't know why we just don't use mine. It's always there. It doesn't require a host. There's no opening of the call. Just get on and go.
Are we supposed to use an official ANC account?
I don't think we have to. We certainly didn't for a while, and the transportation committee hasn't so far, although they're looking into it. But
Are
they have-
you, is the
they have
transportation
the
committee
very
using
same.
your Zoom?
Pardon?
Is the transportation committee using your Zoom?
Well, we have been only done in-person meetings, but the next one is going to be on Zoom. And yeah, I set it up. Well, I set up as a backup because Nash is talking with Gosselin, but he has some of the same concerns about what's been happening to us happening there, even though he hasn't experienced it with us yet. He's concerned about the responsiveness of those who control those accounts.
Okay, well, I'll
I have mine of it. I have one set up for us. I have one set up for the other. It's always there.
that's good to know, Cal. Thank you.
Tomorrow night, by the way, there is a candidate forum.
Yes, there is, from 7 to 8 online. And was it posted on the listserv?
Yeah, I think it was. Who are the candidates that are,
Yeah, it was on the listserv. Yeah.
Is it Lisa and Janice?
Denise and Johnson.
Lisa also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, dinner and the Celtics are calling my name. So,
Good luck with your procedure.
Thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah,
thank
good
you.
luck.
All right, thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Good luck.
Ron,
Talk
thank
to
you.
you.
Yeah, take good care.
Will do. Thanks.
Okay. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Cal, what were you saying I need to do to end?
You can just end the call. The lower right corner when you
Just
put.
end. Okay, I thought there was something special I had to do. Okay.
No, that was only
Okay.
for her to hand it off to you and not end the call.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, bye.